My name is David, I'm 42, and I always believed family is everything. I married Monica 15 years ago, and together we had 2 children, Ella, 16, and Lucas, 14. On the surface, our life looked perfect, a beautiful home, vacations, and the typical family routines. But appearances, I learned the hard way, can be deceiving. It all started last Friday. I noticed small, unusual things: Monica's secretive phone calls, her sudden late nights at work, and the way Ella would dodge questions when I asked about her mother. At first, I dismissed it, thinking it was typical teenage awkwardness and a busy spouse. But Lucas wasn't blind. He came to me quietly one afternoon, eyes wide, whispering, "Dad, Mom's cheating. I've seen her with another man." I froze. Shock, disbelief, and anger collided inside me. I had trusted Monica with everything: my life, my heart, our family, and now I had proof, confirmed by my own son. But what shook me even more was Ella's reaction. When I approached her gently, asking if she had noticed anything, she shook her head, refusing to answer. My daughter, my eldest, was hiding the truth, either out of fear, loyalty, or confusion. That night, I stayed up, thinking, planning. Monica was sleeping in the next room, unaware that her deception was no longer hidden. Lucas sat beside me at the kitchen table, sharing everything he had seen, down to the smallest details: the restaurant dates, the hidden gifts, the text messages he had accidentally glimpsed. Together, we pieced together a timeline, a clear picture of her betrayal. I knew confronting Monica outright could lead to chaos. Instead, I decided to take control, to ensure the consequences were not only unavoidable but unforgettable. Revenge, I realized, wasn't about blind anger. It was about strategy, precision, and making sure that betrayal had a lasting impact, not just for Monica, but for the family she had tried to manipulate. Lucas and I planned carefully, reviewing every detail. Timing, location, and witnesses were critical. Monica's arrogance had led her to believe she could keep everything hidden. But she hadn't counted on the fact that the very children she had raised, my children, could see through the deception and help restore justice in a way she would never forget. The following evening, we executed the first part of our plan. Monica came home, unaware that Lucas and I were fully aware of her affair. I casually asked her to sit in the living room while I needed help organizing some old files. She hesitated, sensing nothing unusual, but agreed. Lucas stayed hidden upstairs, ready to record and gather evidence if necessary. I confronted Monica subtly, bringing up innocuous details she had mentioned in passing: dates, gifts, and conversations she thought were private. She laughed nervously, trying to brush it off, but her unease was obvious. Then came the part she never expected. I told her calmly, "Monica, do you remember every lie you've told? Every secret call, every hidden text?" She frowned, her confidence waning. "David, what are you talking about?" I continued. "Your little secrets are no longer secret. And the funny thing is, Ella knew, but she chose to protect you. Lucas, on the other hand, has been quietly observing. Together, we have everything we need." Her face turned pale. The laughter faded. I watched her shift in her seat, panic slowly creeping in. The woman who had thought she could manipulate her family, hide her betrayal, and carry on her life uninterrupted was now facing the reality that her actions were visible, undeniable. I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I simply laid out the evidence: texts, photos, even details she thought only she knew. Lucas chimed in at the right moment, providing corroboration that made the picture complete. Monica's attempts to argue, justify, or deflect were futile. She realized in that instant that the house she had controlled, the family she had believed she could deceive, was no longer under her influence. Her eyes welled up with tears, not just from shame but from the shock of understanding that her actions had consequences she had underestimated. And for the first time, the power dynamics shifted. I wasn't just a betrayed husband. I was a father who had reclaimed control over his family, and my son had proven himself a partner in ensuring justice. I could feel a strange sense of satisfaction, not rooted in malice, but in balance. Betrayal had been met with clarity, strategy, and precision. Monica's arrogance had led her to believe she was untouchable, but in reality, She had underestimated the loyalty and intelligence of the family she tried to manipulate. The final part of our plan unfolded the next morning. I called a family meeting, inviting Monica, Ella, and Lucas to the dining room. Monica entered nervously, sensing something was about to happen. Ella, unusually quiet, stayed close to Lucas, her eyes downcast but alert. I looked at Monica directly, my voice calm but firm. Monica, your choices have consequences. You've tried to hide your betrayal, manipulate our trust, and divide this family. But you underestimated one thing: the bond between your children and me. Monica's lips trembled. David, please, I can explain. I cut her off. There's nothing to explain anymore. Your explanations don't erase your actions. They don't undo the lies or the hurt. But what they do is show me that I made the right choice to confront this now, before it could go any further. I turned to Lucas. Son, show her what you recorded. Lucas handed Monica her own evidence. Texts, photos, and recordings she had thought were private. She froze, her face draining of color. Her attempts to argue faltered as Ella, finally speaking, added, Mom, I didn't want to see this, but I couldn't keep lying for you anymore. The room was silent. Monica's web of deception had collapsed completely, and the truth stood before her, undeniable and final. I could see the realization in her eyes. She had not only been caught but exposed in front of the family she had tried to control. I took a deep breath and said, Monica, you chose your path. And I chose mine. You have broken the trust that held this family together. Now it's time to face the consequences. Her tears fell freely now, but they didn't change what had happened. The balance of power had shifted entirely. For years, she had held control through secrecy, manipulation, and charm. Now those tools were useless. The family she thought she could deceive had united, and justice had been restored. Not through revenge or anger, but through truth and clarity. As she left the house that afternoon, I watched with a quiet sense of resolve. The damage had been done, but we, the family who mattered, had survived intact. Lucas had grown braver than his age suggested, and Ella had learned the value of honesty, even when it was hard. And I, David, had reclaimed my dignity, my home, and the respect of my children. Betrayal had been met with precision. Lies had been confronted with evidence. And in the aftermath, what remained was not pain, but empowerment, a lesson in loyalty, family, and the strength that comes from standing firm in the face of deceit.